Installing a new wooden floor is, to use a technical term, a bit of a faff. But imagine installing a new wooden floor in a vast 2,000-year-old monument. That's the plan for Rome's Colosseum. It doesn't have a floor at the moment. It was removed by archaeologists in the 19th century. But the Italian government's decided to change that. The culture minister, Dario Franceschini, said the extraordinary new floor would allow visitors to see the majesty of the Colosseum from its centre and, crucially, give visitors the opportunity to stand at the same level where gladiators once fought in the ancient amphitheatre.
My name is Maximus Decimus Meridius, commander of the armies of the North, general of the Felix Legions, loyal servant to the true emperor Marcus Aurelius, father to a murdered son, husband to a murdered wife, and I will have my vengeance in this life or the next.
Russell Crowe's fictional speech given to the Colosseum in the film Gladiator. Darius Arya is an archaeologist and executive director of the American Institute for Roman Culture. He joins us from Rome. Good evening.
Hi, how you doing?
Fine, thank you. What do you think of this proposed new floor, then?
Well, I think there's so many things about it that are fantastic. And I've asked a lot of people, on social media, a lot of friends and colleagues, and it goes from, on the one side, fantastic, we get to be Maximus in the Colosseum and really be connected to history, to the extreme opposite of, why are we doing this? Why is 18 million euros being spent? And is it just kind of like a vanity project that could just break down and be a disaster? So I think that, in the end, it's a long studied project over 5 years. And there's already a section that's been reconstructed. 20 years now. And so they have a lot of experience, and they didn't take this endeavor, lightly. This is a big attempt to then give everybody a chance to be on the Colosseum again like it was in antiquity, and yet also preserve those substructures down below. So it's very ambitious.
I think when we spoke to you when this programme was sort of first mooted back in December, you were correct in saying that you thought that they would introduce a structure that was entirely reversible. That's what's happened. But why is that so important? What's the benefit?
Nowadays, when you look at conservation work, it's always about the reversibility, because when you look at what they were doing in the 20th century, they'd put in those iron bars that ended up oxidizing and cracking apart the marble or whatnot. So conservation in the past, they made a lot of mistakes. Now it's all about whatever you do, you got to make it reversible. If you're going to recompose a vase, make sure that the glue is such that you can take it apart again. So it's just that level of authenticity that you're striving for, and you're ultimately not doing damage to the monument. So that's of the utmost importance. That you're not just going to,
And what do you think of the choice of wood rather than, say, glass, so that you could see those incredible sort of labyrinthine corridors below?
A lot of people were saying to me, what about glass? Then you can actually see it. But the thing is, I think the reason why I believe that the glass would be rejected is that number one, it's so modern. Right, you're giving a different feel to the Colosseum. This project, I think that any successful project would have been this: wood, because that was wood that covered the hypogeum in the first place. So, and if you're striving for authenticity, I think it has to be wood. Now they're using something called a koya, which is actually technically pickled wood. So it's a treated wood, which is supposed to be more resistant. I don't know. It kind of reminds me of IKEA or something. But I guess the idea too is it's sustainable. They're not using some precious resistant wood that then would be expensive or whatnot. So they're trying to make this very, very sustainable.
And briefly then, do you think these new plans take us closer to the original amphitheatre structure?
Oh yeah, but they're going to put that floor on the exact ancient level. It can't get more close to the reality of where the gladiator stood than that. I think that's absolutely fantastic, and it's made in wood. I guess the flip side of it is, wow, it sounds ultimately kind of complicated. There's a mechanism involved, and it's expensive. So you're kind of wondering, is this thing going to work? Is it going to get stuck or something? I don't know. That's my fear would be.
We'll have to wait a couple of years to see, but let's see how it turns out. Darius Arya, thank you very much indeed.